What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. So today's video has been requested for quite a few days now, so I guess I'm quite late with this, but I wanted to give you my thoughts, I suppose. And for those of you who happen to not know the latest information that we actually got out of an interview from Zack Snyder, which was actually on another YouTuber's channel known as Grace Randolph. So go ahead and go to her channel and watch the interview if you feel like it. But today I'm going to be, just breaking down what, the main tidbits that were said in that video and just my thoughts on it. And I would love to start a conversation down in the comments below because there's quite a bit to talk about. I hope that this video doesn't drag out too long. We'll be talking a little bit about JusticeCon that is actually tomorrow and Sunday, where there will be quite a bit coming out of that event. You can be sure to know that, so get excited. And also, if you go ahead to enjoy this video, let me know just by leaving a like on it, and let me know if you want me to break down the details from JusticeCon, because hey, looks like we're going to be getting a few treats there. So the very first thing that was, kind of taken out of this interview is that the Justice League runtime seems to be more than 214 minutes, which is, kind of insane. Everyone was saying, well, the Justice League Snyder Cut is going to be quite a long movie, and we're all speculating how it's going to be released on HBO Max. Now, personally, I really don't mind the runtime. The more content, the better. I'm excited for Justice League. Let me just get right off the bat through saying that, the Snyder Cut. But I'm not massively hyped. I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but I'm going to sit there and just soak it all in and really just, take out of it what I can. With Snyder's original vision coming to fruition with so much content. Like, that is insane. It's 214 minutes, but more than that by the sounds of it, which is just brilliant for all of the fans who have been rallying behind getting the Snyder Cut released. And yeah, the details of what consists of these 214 plus minutes that we're about to go over, it is really insane, and I can't wait to get into that. So personally, how would I like it to release? I wouldn't like it to release like episodically, like one episode being an hour, the second episode being another 60 minutes, the third episode. I'd rather it be in two halves. I think that's very digestible. With all of this new content that's being added in the movie, I think, it could be ended off on a, not necessarily obviously a cliffhanger, I wouldn't want to call it that, but with some kind of interlude that whether both these parts come out on the same day or they put a week between it, I don't think that would be a likely option either. I think it would be the same day. But, some kind of interlude, whether that's where the resurrection of Superman happens, I don't know. But I would love your thoughts on that as well. So a lot more than 214 minutes, Zack made it sound in that interview, and he just wants it to be true to itself. That's his kind of only pressure with this movie. He wants the very pure and exact version of the movie that, was always intended, rather than that of the Justice Cut, if you will. Now, I really appreciated these little tidbits from the interview that Grace had, because this goes over the continuity, the cinematic universes, and, how does it relate to the rest of the DCEU? Now, personally, I feel like this was all self-explanatory before, but I think fans sometimes get so deep in the rabbit hole that you never know what may come to fruition, like if there is a new continuity in the worlds of DC, if you will, within the movie universe, because you never know, that could always be a possibility. More or less a worlds of DC now, when you take into account Matt Reeves has been giving his own little pocket universe of the Batman, and we have the new blossomed DCEU, well after the Snyder era, to the point of where Snyder likes to call his part, or what he's heard himself as, you're entering the kind of Snyderverse now. So what he said himself is that the DCEU has gone on to branch, grow and blossom in new ways since his day, and that's great to him. And where the movie falls, he believes it represents its own path, its own kind of separate canon, if you will, from the DC cinematic universe and continuity. It's divergent in that way. One of DC's core strengths is the multiverse concept, which we just went over, and he speaks about how that means filmmakers are put first, and how DC say, like, they want to hear your individual voices, and that allows filmmakers to take the characters and do a run and show, the world what they would do. And as I said, most recently, the perfect example of that is what Warner Brothers is letting Matt Reeves do with the Batman. And if you've heard me talk about it in previous videos before, Matt Reeves has said, I have a very specific like vision for this. This is it on the table. If you don't want to do it, take it or leave it kind of thing. And luckily, they let him have basically free reign. So for Zack Snyder, the Snyder Cut Justice League is entering the Snyderverse now. And frankly, what you see in Justice League, Batman vs. Superman, Man of Steel, there is a continuity across those three films because, of course, there is. I mean, he made them. So, whereas with the Justice League, if you will, it felt like there wasn't. When you take into account Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, this movie, the Snyder Cut, will feel like this kind of trilogy arc that is contained within its own little universe, if you will. I mean, I don't want to branch it off that badly because it's not technically, I mean, obviously we have the same actors, but you guys get what I'm saying there. And I really, really enjoyed the topic of Superman being brought up. This was actually a fantastic interview. It really, really was. Grace brings up the darker side of Superman, and will we see more of that in the Snyder Cut, given the nature of what happens to Superman in the movie. And Zack does love the idea of Superman going on the journey with his character. That's kind of the way he approached it with his films. He personally loves the idea of Superman having to reconcile his morality, reconcile his place on Earth, and reconcile his love affair with Lois and how that affects the way he relates to humanity. So for him, and this is something we can all identify with after having seen the films, and this will really, really come to fruition with his cut of Justice League, is that when you see Superman grapple with those things, he becomes a lot more relatable. When you see Superman having to figure out what to do, you can now go, wow, if I was Superman, I mean, I could see, because Superman is such an abstract character in his powers and what he's able to do, to the point of where anytime you can bring him back down to Earth, he becomes that much more relatable. So, obviously Superman's place, his ultimate place, is at the top of the pyramid of the DC superhero world, and you can kind of see Superman's journey in Man of Steel to Batman vs. Superman to this really come full circle. And as a big fan of Henry Cavill Superman, honestly, Man of Steel, don't know if you guys know this, is literally my favorite DCEU movie. It's gonna feel good to see Zack finally take Superman to that pinnacle, if you will, through his story. I guess kind of concluding in this Justice League Snyder Cut. I mean, obviously we can see more from Henry Cavill in the future, but this is Snyder's vision actualizing with Superman. We did get some commentary on Batman in terms of how there was a lot of Bruce in the Snyder stuff, and his explanation of that is, Bruce is forced to do a lot of stuff as Bruce Wayne in the movie, Bruce Wayne activities, and obviously it's hard for Batman to go to a party, dressed as Batman, so seeing Bruce, in his humanity is an amazing thing to see, and that's something I do enjoy about, seeing Ben Affleck's version of Bruce Wayne, and I just love the way Snyder put it in terms of how everyone loves Batman, and he's a badass, but the why of that is very cool. But one of the most common things that I think fans know anyway is, with regards to Ray Fisher's Cyborg and what happened with Justice League. Because from the very beginning, that, Snyder really, really wanted to make Cyborg the heart of the movie. And if you know just a little bit about the development of Justice League, and if you've seen the theatrical cut, more or less the heart was carved out and just tossed aside. So Cyborg will go on this huge journey with respect in terms of as far as like where he's at, where we meet him, to the point of where he's at the end of the movie. It's really in how he represents in a lot of ways what it is to create community and what it is to bring people together. So I really can't wait. I mean, that's a very common fact, but just seeing Zack talk about it in this interview is a very exciting thing, and just seeing a lot of justice come to Ray Fisher's Cyborg is got to be a great thing to see, of course. I don't believe there was anything said about Flash. There was a couple of things in regards to Wonder Woman and Aquaman and how that relates to the film, because it's kind of funny in how Aquaman is set after Justice League, but Wonder Woman 1984 is set beforehand. But yet again, you kind of have to take into account the new blossomed version of the DCEU in conjunction with his Snyderverse era. But ultimately, that those were the main tidbits from the interview, and I just wanted to give my thoughts on it. I know I'm late with this, but it would be great to see what you guys think about it in the comments down below. But there is one more thing to talk about, and that is with regards to JusticeCon, which is happening literally tomorrow, and the 25th and 26th. And he teases that a clip will be shown, a small one, but he is very, very excited about that. And we've already obviously had the Wonder Woman Darkseid Darkseid clip, so you could only imagine what kind of new footage with all of these things that he detailed in his interview could be about. I really can't wait for that. And he also does tease that there's maybe another tiny little announcement just for the fans, so who knows what that will be. If you would like me to break down the JusticeCon stuff as well this weekend, because I guess we're going to get a few tidbits out of that, which would definitely be worth talking about. So whether that is just in a live stream I can talk about, or whether you want kind of another mini breakdown video like this, I'll be more than happy to accommodate, for that. So yeah, I mean, let me know all of your thoughts. Like the video if you did enjoy it, guys. Let me know what you're most excited about with the Justice League Snyder Cut. And that is everything I have to say about it, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.